us. Over to you, Adrian.
All right, how's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
Awesome. End of week 9. We're approaching week 10. We have 2 more weeks. It's the final stretch. Everybody looks very handsome with their gear. I did do a slideshow for all the articles that we posted today. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. That way we can just go over that, summarize the articles, stop recording, and then we can record again. That way we can post something to YouTube, right? That way it's not too long.
We're just sitting here waiting for Adrian. Adrian, you still with us? Adrian, if you're talking, you might be on mute.
All right. A little technical difficulties, but we got it. All right. Our first article that we seem to have posted today includes Apple, huge company, huge tech company. They dropped an update to fix 2 bugs in their operating system. First bullet point, always update when you ever have a new update. It is for a reason, because they do fix bugs. Part of the 0-day exploits that they had was any application may be able to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges, right? So what this means is that when a particular vulnerability allows an attacker to execute arbitrary code, it typically means that the bad guy can run any command on the target system to that the attacker chooses, right? So Apple, that's a really serious exploit that they needed to fix, right? So you always need to keep your devices up to date. Another vulnerability that they had was a WebKit. WebKit is the browser engine that powers Safari, Chrome, and other web browsers. So when a huge tech company are releasing these updates, you need to pay attention. You need to update your devices. Any questions on this?
Put your hand up if you didn't update. Go away and do it now.
All right, our second article would be 1,044 increase in social media account hijacking. I wanted to do a quick shout out to Diksha, just because she did give some tips and advice. This is what we're striving for. That way to provide value for our audience. So huge shout out to Diksha. This article just goes over the numbers of, with all of COVID, everything's transitioning to remote. So people have been scammed online, believing that they were somebody else and they just gave up their personal information. So there's a huge increase in social media account hijacking. Any questions on this?
No, another best practice just to take note of is to enable 2FA, or MFA, multi-authentication on it. So multi-factor or 2-factor authentication.
Yeah, I'm a little curious on how people feel about that. I think most people who don't fully understand that their social media does have a high potential of getting hacked by anyone won't want to do MFA because it's so much work. I know for school personally, I have to do MFA and it's like the most time-consuming thing. I feel like it takes me 10 minutes just to log in. So I'm wondering if they're going to develop something a little more easier, quicker, because I feel like people, when it comes to the option of, having that quick login versus being well protected, but it being a little more time consuming, I feel like people are like, well, will I really get hacked? And just move on to not choosing the MFA or the safer option.
Yeah, I agree. But it really comes down to how you want to protect your information. Right. I know some companies are moving towards requiring it, right? Not even giving you an option. Which in my opinion, in this day and age, it's really great, even though you have to take that extra step. Nobody's logging into your stock account, Robinhood, Coinbase. And you don't want people to see your money, right? So I definitely think in some cases it is worth it, but maybe in some cases it isn't.
And so does like Face ID count as an MFA? Like I know for some applications you just slide up, it scans your face and you're good to go. Is that an MFA or is it like another step further?
So in my opinion, it could be, right. Because it is the scanning of your face is just for your password, right? So really it's just asking you to put the password of your device to log into the app.
Would anyone else like to try and answer?
I mean, I'm assuming no, because MFA is a multi-factor authentication. And when you do have your Face ID, you just do it and that's it. There's not that multi-factor. It's just one step for you to log in. So, but I can see why it would be a little more protection, because I would like to assume no one else could get into it, right? Because it's only my face.
But then again, even Apple has multi-factor authentication by using Face ID, and I heard they had a problem where if you had a twin brother or twin sister, then it would still unlock your phone.
Yeah, so 2FA and MFA get interchanged a lot. And if you think about it, you've already unlocked your phone. So that could be a PIN, a password, Face ID. But with banking generally sends you like a text message or get you to verify again using your Face ID once you log in. But there's zero auth really getting pushed at the moment as well. So that's something you really want to keep an eye out. Just around the corner.
Perfect. This next article is going to be banking malware. It just talks about the transition, right? So Android, it had this banking Trojan where you would download like a banking app and they would steal your credentials and it would send it to their server, right? So recently they noticed that it added ransomware to their toolkit, and that is something huge, like the article discussed, just because usually ransomware is used on small businesses to keep their information either for money or fees, or even threaten to publish it to the public unless they pay whatever they want. But in this instance, they are locking down people's mobile devices, which is huge, right? So people, it's a new era. People are constantly on their phone, and imagine if somebody took away your phone, you'd be willing to pay the price just to get your phone back, right? So that's, in my opinion, very, very interesting. The transition of ransom to mobile devices, and that is kind of scary. Like, imagine waking up one day, hey, you have to pay $500 just to open your phone. right? With some cases you can just get a new phone, but it is in other cases where if you have pictures or if you have sensitive information that you don't want out in the public, you'll be more than willing to pay the price.
Wow, that is so interesting. So basically, they're extorting people for money in exchange for them to get access to their phone back?
Yeah. So that it's huge, right? The transition between attacking small businesses and attacking a single person. And like I said, they download these Trojan banking apps. They get your credentials, and like the credentials are automatically sent to their server. And you know, they've noticed that ransomware was added to the banking Trojan. Um, so the transition is happening, and that's one of the things that they said in the article, that it's very interesting what's happening now that they can lock your phone.
Yeah, so the bad actors getting two bites of the cherry. They're getting your banking credentials so they can come and, potentially withdraw money, and then they're going to encrypt your phone and extort you for money. And think of that, if a business pays the ransom, how many individuals are there? What, 250 million in the States? And if people want to unlock their phone at $500 a head, that's pretty good business model.
Yeah, I have to agree. They are getting smart. I mean, like Adrian said, like a lot of sensitive information. I mean, people use their phones for everything. And so I'm sure a lot of people will be willing to pay a high price for getting access to the phone. And I'm sure, they're threatening with like maybe even leaking their information. I mean, looking at things like I think Ashley Madison, they leaked a bunch of their information, and that alone is like super sensitive information. And people have so much of that on their phone. So it's a little scary, but they're getting smart.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, even from their banking information, how can they get their social security information and really just corrupt them for good? That's the most important thing, and people don't know about that, and it's just scary.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you protect yourself from this? Like, beware of like, the banking apps. Like, how are you proactive about things like this?
Yeah, I think the major takeaway is you do not download, your app from a third-party store. Make sure you're going to the Google Play Store and someone who's reputable in the industry. So it's something to be cautious about.
Awesome. Do we have any further questions on this article? Perfect. All right. So this next article talks about 1 in 40 organizations are hit by ransomware on a weekly basis, right? So basically, this article is talking about the growth of cybersecurity within the next years, right? It's predicting 150 billion by 2026, right? And that's just a rough estimate. I'm sure, more like cybersecurity has become super relevant in the past 4 years, right? With COVID, with businesses having to implement strategies in place for their employees to work from home, hybrid work. So keeping your information secure, your email secure, your business secure is definitely being talked about way more in 2022, right? So imagine by 2026, everybody's gonna know what cybersecurity is, right? So these are just rough estimates. The reason why 1 in 40 organizations are hit is mainly because the transition to remote and hybrid work. And they're saying that in the next 4 years, the industry is going to increase by 100 billion, right? And that's just the estimate, but I'm sure the numbers are going to grow dramatically. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I just love when you read these articles and it's like how do they cherry pick these numbers, you know? And as cyber is coming more mainstream, and it's something that we're really pushing out here with Cyber News Live, but yeah, we want to bring that awareness to your mum and pops and your businesses. But man, we're in this industry that it's just incredible. 150
And
billion.
are these numbers from the United States or worldwide?
I'm assuming it is the United States, but let me double check for you.
Yeah. It'll be
Yeah,
really cool,
because
I
I
think.
feel like if, I mean, it was worldwide, it'd be a little more than that, and a lot more than that. I mean, I feel like 150 billion is a small number for the whole world.
Yeah, that's sales, that's security sales. And I'd have to say that's US based,
Yeah,
especially, you know, we're a $1 trillion industry now. So
yeah.
Also, do you guys think that small businesses can recover from a major hit in privacy and like when there's a big amount of money that is stolen from them, and
that's,
possibly millions or billions?
yeah, the short answer, no. We're even seeing schools shut down because of ransomware. Hospitals are getting targeted all the time. It's not going anywhere. So, but 1 in 40 organizations, it's, you know, there's a saying in the industry, it's not if, but when. So when will I get hit with ransomware? And one of the guest speakers I've got coming on got hit with ransomware, and I've asked him to talk to you guys about his company and what happened with the effects of ransomware. So, you know, it's big numbers. It's pretty interesting. And he always thought, you know, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. And in the end, he got tapped on the shoulder, and they found him.
Awesome. All right. I believe this is one of our last articles. It's called the Zero Trust. So basically, they're noticing a 26% increase in organizations implementing the Zero Trust policy into their organization. Basically, the reason for that is, like I said before, remote and hybrid work. Companies, right, that offer remote and hybrid work become significantly more susceptible to hacks, right? Because you're working with their network and with their information. So basically, what the zero trust adoption is, it's a security model that means companies will no longer assume an employee or outside contractor is a trusted user, and therefore anyone accessing a network will be required to confirm their identity. And that's huge, right? In my opinion, they should have been doing this, right? But year after year, everybody's incorporating into their businesses, right? I know when I first got my remote job, I had to do cyber training, right? And what to look for and what to avoid, and even in the workplace, right? Like, one example is don't use a USB charger that it's not yours, right? Because it could have malware in there that can turn into ransomware if you plug into a computer that's on the network, right? So I definitely think that this should be implemented everywhere, right? You should if you have access to a network, you should they should know it's you.
Yeah, probably the major takeaway from this is implementing zero trust. It costs a lot of money, so not really small, medium-sized businesses can afford it. So keep an eye out for that as it becomes, I guess, obviously the cost is going to be increasing or decreasing over the years to enable more people into the market. But a great article is the NIST 800-207 that talks about the zero trust model. So if you have some time, look that up. And a lot of the work we do in our industry refers back to NISTs and NIST frameworks that they push out into the industry.
Right. And how much would you say a zero trust app would cost in a business?
Yeah, why is it expensive?
Yeah, the adoption, new technology is just expensive. So think about your traditional work environment, then the push to the cloud. So everyone had, you know, the data websites and everything going on. It was all internal. Then you had as a service, sort of that hybrid. You had, you know, servers in-house, external, hosting the cloud, and now everything's sort of getting pushed in the cloud. So just new technology into the market does take time to adopt.
Right. And what would you say the price range would be to adopt a zero trust plan?
Yeah, it'd probably go off per head. But I'm yeah, that's something I don't know the answer of. So it might be per agent installed onto a laptop or server, or if it's per head count.
All right, I know it's 7:30. Do you mind if I go over this last article, and then we can just wrap up, talk about the progress really quickly with each project, and then we can go over the accountability. Not really go over the checklist. I could probably look at the numbers tonight. That way we don't have to sit here and check. But I have noticed an increase in everybody. Everybody is all hands in. Even if we're not commenting, we are somewhere else, right? I do want to say a huge shout out to Dovren. He posted 5 articles today, and that's, you know, above and beyond, right? So huge shout out to Dovren. Another thing, you know, we're all, you know, commenting and it's so in my opinion, there is a difference between when we last met and today. So we are making progress slowly but surely. But this last article is with Flashpoint. We did talk with Glenn on Flashpoint. Super great guy, super great company. They just had a study that showed 1,980 breaches reported globally within the first 6 months of 2022. And basically, the whole point of this article is saying that there is some progression, but you know, we are still being hacked, right? 60% of the 1980 is hacking, but they did notice a significant downfall from web-related incidents from 27.3 billion to 1.4 billion, right? That is some progress. It is a win, but we also need to focus on hacking as well. So that's basically, just to summarize really quickly, Flashpoint and their article that they did. They do have their article on their website if you want to check that out as well. And that should conclude the articles. And like I said, accountability, I'll go over that tonight. But I do have to say, you know, I'm looking forward to week 10. I'm looking forward to our growth, to see if we grow another 100, another 200, and to see the comments go up. Yeah, thank you guys so much for letting me speak on the articles and all that good stuff. Thank you, Robert. I hope you guys enjoyed the slideshow.
Adrian, thank you so much. I really, you know, loved how you presented that, and I can see that content being used multiple ways. You know, a quick 1-minute overview of the articles we posted and pushing that out on social media, plus the larger content where we can put on YouTube. And I felt a little bit like TMZ, where we're talking about celebrities, but instead, you know, we're talking about malware and breaches and, you know, hunting bad guys. It's a bit of a flip, but, you know, pretty cool. Now, just quickly, we spoke about the website. The website's a little bit off track, so let's get that back on. Be patient. Remember, English isn't a first language. Everything that we do in this space, how we talk and communicate, everything gets lost in translation. So let's break that down. Let's keep it in its most simplest form, right? Follow the bouncing ball, dot point, and, you know, let's get together with some communications over the weekend and push that up. The drop shipping, this is going to be big. We're going to have some items on our website, so let's make sure we get that right as well. So try and identify resellers here in the United States that we can lean on for our stock, especially with, you know, great polos like this. So let's keep an eye out for that. Actually still pushing out the comp plan. Adrian's doing the marketing. We're gaining a lot of traction online. Dovrin, you sent me a couple of messages today about our competitors and things like that. Let's touch base. Let's stay focused on that as well. And like you said, no one's really doing what we're doing when it comes to cyber news, but we have to look at prompting that up by having our managed services. So I've got my pitch deck that I'm going to complete this weekend to go around and speak to people. And I also have my forecasting and revenue model attached for that. So I feel we're in a pretty neat position to start talking to potential venture capitalists, friends and family, and start raising some capital. What else do we have? Do you guys want me to share my screen, or does someone, well, let's just go around the room. What are our core values? Adrian.
All right, we got ACIT, right? ACIT, awareness, credibility, education, integrity, and trust. That should be a shirt, in my opinion.
Yeah, we could probably make some merch on that. ACIT, and maybe have, instead of Drop Bear Cyber Productions on the yoke, we can have ACIT, and people are like, what's ACIT? And then we can go, hey, that's our core values, and we wear them. Or maybe if we put it on our other sleeve, you know, we wear our core values on our sleeve. All right, what's next? The vision statement. Could I please get a volunteer? Visual.
Yep, the vision statement is to be the largest cyber news production company in the world by delivering relevant information that is easy to consume, digest, and take action upon. Yeah.
Perfect, man. Now, you weren't reading the article, were you? You didn't have it
No.
up to the side?
No.
No. All right. And lucky last, who wants to read the mission statement? Ashley? Layla?
The mission is to fill the cyber news gap by bringing cyber news that is relevant to everyone's feed in a way that every demographic
That it's tailored.
that it's tailored to the tailored demographics of all ages can consume, digest, and take action upon if necessary.
Yeah, and understand why cyber is important. So remember, you know, cyber is all around us. It touches everything and everyone. So, and that's really why it's important. And that goes back to, you know, our statement. All right, guys, I might, what I'll do is I'll stop recording. I want to say thank you to everyone for being on. And